Hello, friends. This is Tomar Levine of Soul Guidance for Awakening. And I'm going to try to keep this one short. Uh, I've been doing these live streams on the topic of stepping into the unknown. There are many, many facets or aspects to that I've been exploring. And yesterday, I talked about the card I pulled. Here it is, it's a tiny little card on the topic of gifts. So if you're interested in what I said, look for the live stream I did on March 10th, 2021, all about some very interesting aspects of dancing with our gifts. And the topic of gifts is very related, of course, to our purpose. And sometimes they're the same thing. Sometimes they're virtually equated, and we don't have to look very far. I just want to share one basic thought about the topic of purpose, which I think is troubling for a lot of people and keeps many people stuck. I've been noticing this. I had a client just the other week who was feeling very stuck and blaming herself because she felt that she wasn't able to discover her purpose. She didn't know her purpose. And therefore, she couldn't have the fulfilled, happy, successful life that she was convinced would be hers if only she knew what her purpose was and then presumably lived it. Knowing your purpose isn't enough. Obviously, it's not going to do you any good if you don't actually live that purpose. But like many people, she was feeling, I think, intimidated by the concept and the way purpose is seen. It's talked about, it's bandied about a lot now in our culture. But the word purpose feels like some mountaintop you have to attain, some arduous path of self-discovery, maybe, sitting out in the wilderness for a week on a vision quest or who knows what. But I think the intimidation of the word purpose comes from the fact that it's sort of like a noun. You arrive at your purpose like it's a huge block of concrete that you find waiting for you, and it's this gigantic solid thing. And if you haven't found it yet, if all you've found is a few breadcrumbs here and there, or something that feels a little bit more amorphous, maybe a little bit more like a swamp, or a little bit more like a mist that you're walking through, that couldn't be purpose. Where is this solid epiphany like, oh my God, I have seen the light and now I am delivered? So this expectation, this projection onto the word purpose of something that really isn't true keeps people frozen, paralyzed, and convinced they haven't gotten it, that they're not there, and that there's something wrong with them. Because, that's the tendency in our culture. If something isn't working, we tend to blame ourselves, even if the problem has nothing to do with us, but is really systemic. It's really comes from our particular society in the way it's structured now. But here's my thought about another approach that I think is more compassionate, more merciful, more kind to oneself, and easier to pursue. It's very simple. It's just substituting for the word purpose, the word calling. So where purpose is a noun and feels like a block of something solid that you have to discover that's going to completely alter your life. Calling is more of a verb. Calling implies that you're hearing something, that you're listening, that you're noticing, that you're following. It's like hearing this flute song somewhere in the distance, and you pick it up here and you pick it up there, and you follow where it's calling. You follow what's calling you. You follow what excites you. You follow what lights you up. You follow what gives you joy. You follow what you love. You follow what you enjoy. You follow what comes easily. You follow the thing that couldn't possibly be my purpose. It's too easy, or it's too much fun, or it's too frivolous, or it's not serious enough. Same thing. So I recommend that you try this on. Try playing with the word calling and what that suggests to you, what that implies. What is calling you? What's calling you now? What's calling your name? Where do you hear little echoes and shimmers that you resonate with? What excites you? What interests you? What are you curious about? What has called you in the past? We very often dismiss the things that we used to adore, that we would get lost in for hours and hours at a time because, well, that was kid stuff, or that wasn't serious, or you can't make a living doing that. Well, you'd be surprised. First of all, your purpose, your calling doesn't always have to equate with earning a living or with a career or with your work. But it has something to do with your soul. It has something to do with what you wish to express or contribute or add to the world. It could just be your beingness itself, something in your presence that shines, that radiates, that affects other people, that lifts others. And when you're happy, when you're in joy, when you're lit up, when you're excited, when you're playful, when you're like a child, all of those kinds of energies enormously contribute to the world around you and to those around you. Just watch and see. So try on the word calling and see where it leads you. What's calling you? What are you noticing? What are you hearing? What lights you up? I'm going to leave you with that for today. Many blessings to you, and bye for now. This is Tomar Levine of Soul Guidance for Awakening.